Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. On the program, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu unveils 5-year food sufficiency roadmap and launches the $20 million Lagos Cares initiative. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has unveiled a 5-year agricultural and food systems roadmap that will address food security and achieve socio-economic growth in the state. Let's now find out what it's all about.
Lagos State, Nigeria's commercial nerve center, is located in the northwest geopolitical zone. With a growing population of over 22 million people, the state is working towards becoming self-sufficient in the area of food production, a plan that has led to the launch of a 5-year agricultural roadmap to address food security.
Mr. Governor, the governor that makes first.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is again taking another bold step, which is why his cabinet members, agricultural entrepreneurs, traditional rulers, elder statesmen and many others are gathered to witness the event. The Commissioner for Agriculture, who is overseeing projects in the sector, takes the stage to highlight the state's food security needs.
This strategic document was brought to life to help chart the way forward to a food-sufficient Lagos. I dream of a Lagos that is socially inclusive, where the informal sector becomes transformed into data-driven clusters and can contribute much more towards the development of this great state. I dream of a Lagos where wholesome food is available, where healthy people thrive, where a reorganized food system reduces freight congestion and post-harvest losses, where there is increased profits for value chain actors, where millions of people are gainfully employed, and where productivity is high for all. Investment in the transformation of agriculture to agribusiness is one way towards achieving this laudable dream, the dream of a healthier, wealthier Lagos. Do you know that 1 liter of coconut oil is 10 times more valuable than a liter of engine oil? Do you know that 5 kilos of tomatoes is 5 times more valuable than 5 kilos of granite for construction? This shows that there is great wealth to be mined from the oldest profession on the face of this earth, especially if data-driven principles are applied and the right information is made available to investors. That is what this roadmap is to do, to point us in the direction with regards to scale, scope, and size of the potentials in the Lagos food ecosystem.
The Ministry of Agriculture is not carrying this burden by itself. Other parastatals are part of the team working towards the realization of the food system's 5-year roadmap.
This program demonstrates that we are deliberate about socioeconomic growth. The figures from the Lagos State Bureau of Statistics shows us that agriculture contributes less than 2% to the GDP of Lagos. And I personally believe, I'm absolutely optimistic, that the launch of this roadmap will increase the contribution of agriculture from below 2% to 5% in the next 5 years. The Lagos State Agriculture and Food Systems Roadmap will go a long way to close the inequality gap that has been evident in this country in the last 3 decades and will ultimately lead to economic development of our state.
As a ministry, as an MDA, we're totally committed to bringing up relevant technical supports, appropriate ones for the agri sector. For the vegetable market in Yafin, the ministry, because of the excellent laws and the fact that we provide technical support services, I just want to reassure you that we'll continue to do our best in doing that. The rice mill in Imota, already we're thinking ahead, and we know that all of the products that will come from this market will require an alternative route. So we've already done the final sets of designs to have an alternative route at the back of the rice mill, just to bring out the products out as fast as possible. Just as we're doing that as well, even for Ekpe, towards the end of the jetty for the fish market, the road that leads to the end also, we're beginning to finalize designs on that. And why are we doing all of this? We realize that in all of the products that we've done, all the things that come out from all of this roadmap, you need to export those things out as quickly as possible. So as a ministry, we're committed, we'll state once and again. And then more importantly, the new food markets, where exactly Lagosians will be proud to say the kind of food when you go to the new face of markets in Lagos, not the way markets have always been done. That design has been concluded as a ministry. We've also just signed off on that.
The motorized mill, which we're currently taking through a procurement process. We have various incentives for fish. We have the Obonla Aquaculture Center, and there are also fantastic opportunities in the red meat value chain, which we're looking to get potential investors for. So just to quickly say that as an office, we're here to support, we're here to help. We understand that private capital needs security, and we're here to do that.
The Food and Agriculture Organization is also willing to work with the Lagos State government, while the legislative arm calls for a policy to strengthen the food roadmap.
We in FAO are collaborating very closely with the Agriculture Ministry, particularly in looking at developing the agricultural value chains in the country, but also in the state. FAO is supporting the Lagos State to develop sustainable commercial fisheries and aquaculture through its projects. This is to unlock the potential of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, focusing on the productivity and competitiveness of fisheries value chains. In addition, we are currently in advanced discussions with the state to provide technical assistance in the development of the coconut value chain. This would ensure sustainable food security and economic development of the state. Lagos State is also benefiting from FAO's technical cooperation programs, particularly in improving the data and information systems for policy planning and tracking of SDGs. Let me restate on behalf of the UN in Nigeria, because when we talk about food systems, we are also talking about a wider community, but particularly also from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, that as a specialized agency of the United Nations that leads international efforts to defeat hunger, we will continue to avail our expertise and global experience and foster partnership with the government at different levels to ensure zero hunger for all Nigerians.
All these ideas are futuristic, and it is doable. On our side, as a legislative firm, we are ready to partner with you, and we are ready to give you all what it deserves so that you'll be able to accomplish all these ideas. But it is better. The government goes and comes, but the legacy stands forever. All this idea, let's find a way to let it have a very strong legislation that we keep it forever. Either we are here or not here, at least this idea will not go in vain.
Lagos, the farmer is your rib, the bone of your bone and the flesh of your flesh. For better, for worse, till death do you part. Forever intertwined, you dare not divide.
That Lagos was one big market.
Then a panel discussion offers possible ways to engage residents on the agricultural value chains.
To get young people engaged, we need to be driving our agriculture with technology. We need to be promoting vertical farms. We need to engage with technology in increasing the yield you talked about and production.
Working with the various subnationals, we've developed things like the Anchor Borrower program, which is our flagship program. We've spent close to 600 billion as at today in various food commodities. We're launching a very large-scale wheat program. We import close to 6 million metric tons of wheat annually. We produce just 60,000 metric tons. Lagos State has most of the mills that will mill this wheat. So we look forward to how Lagos, landlocked. I mean, having small, over around 3,000 square kilometers for me is not a disadvantage. But like the other speakers have said, Lagos can partner with other states. We're ready to provide the right products, the right financing, to be able to ensure that Lagos State can take land in other states like Niger or Kwara, who have very large land mass, and then bring the wheat to come and be milled in its state.
There is more on this project from the commissioner in charge.
Currently, we have only just about 20% production in Lagos. 80% of what we consume is coming from other parts of the country or is imported. For how long is this going to be sustained? Don't forget, the more you keep importing, the more your currency would depreciate because you have nothing to offer. What this also means is as your currency depreciates, how to be able to buy food items would continue to be more difficult because then the disposable income of the average Nigerian, of the average Lagosian, will continue to diminish. What this will translate into is a reduced quality of life. Once there's a reduced quality of life, then poverty sets in. Once poverty sets in, then the idea around committing crime also sets in. And indirectly, you begin to have insecurity, which is why food, health, security are intertwined. They cannot be divided, which is why food is still the integral component to holding the society together. Markets for Lagos is the key to ensuring that we are food sustained. And what do I mean by this? With a city having over 22 million people, the largest market in sub-Saharan Africa, the smallest landmass, what we are good at is to be able to offer the monies we have to those who can supply us with the right food items. Transforming our market is the way for Lagos. What would we do around the other components of ensuring that we are food secure, moving from 20% to 50%? We would want to make agric lands more available to the people. People might say in the past it's been difficult, but trust me, we are working on systems and processes to ensure that the right people get the right agric lands, we partner with them, and we bring food solutions to the fore.
Olushola Sanwo-Olu, can I hear your applause?
Lagos being the first to kick off such initiative was inspired by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the visionary leader, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, rolls out how the 5-year roadmap will improve the food production.
Time is right for us to unlock our immeasurable agricultural potential through the implementation of a 5-year roadmap that will lead to a wealth generation, that will create value for our people, that will provide for us food security, that will help to industrialize our agricultural sector and will entrench an inclusive social economic development for our state. As a visionary government, we are committed to optimally developing our potential in the food production sector. The adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on food security have further necessitated our immediate action at ensuring that food security for all Lagosians is not just by mouth, it's something that we need to activate like yesterday. With the human and capital resource at our disposal, we should be able to feed ourselves. And as I said, possibly also even export to other parts of the country by becoming self-sufficient in food production and supply. We need to be able to engender sustainable growth through the development of the agricultural sector. The focus on this 5-year agricultural and food security roadmap is the development of an agricultural value chain where Lagos State has competitive and comparative advantage to enhance the state's self-sufficiency in food production from a meager 18-20% to 40% and possibly 50% over the next 5 years. And we believe that this will also help us achieve our plan on our sustainable development goals agenda for Lagos State.
And then the official unveiling of the Lagos Agriculture and Food Systems Roadmap. A lot has been said about making Lagos self-sufficient in food production. The next 5 years will determine the effectiveness of the food roadmap.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has also launched the coronavirus $20 million Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, otherwise known as CARES, for vulnerable households. Take a look.
The COVID-19 pandemic caught the world by surprise, making it difficult for people to live their normal lives. Majority of residents in the Nigeria's commercial city are yet to recover from the hardship that the pandemic brought to their doorstep. The Lagos State government is concerned about the welfare of its citizens and has rolled out a $20 million COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program to support vulnerable households and expand food services.
In 2020, when COVID struck, it was not just a health pandemic, but it was also a very challenging economic situation. We also were exposed to food security vulnerabilities, which needed to be addressed in a very strong and decisive and deliberate manner. As part of the efforts, therefore, to mitigate the effect of COVID-19, the federal government secured a $750 million World Bank facility support on behalf of the state government, with each state having a minimum of about $20 million, including our dear state, Lagos. Basically to support the local economies and to support vulnerable households in the state.
For a better understanding, please put your hands
The
together.
special advisor to Governor Sanwo-Olu on Sustainable Development Goals says farmers as well as the micro, small and medium subsector will be supported with conditional grants to improve their businesses.
The program was designed around three key areas. One was around helping individuals, whether it's by giving them cash transfers, especially for those who can work, like people with disabilities and people who don't have skills yet, or whether it's providing jobs that they can do to earn some money, or whether it's some other form of livelihood support. All these supports to the individual make up result area one. And then it was also important to look at the food security element. Of course, we remember, even in the time when we had to shut down the state, we had, some challenges straining our food supply. And so it's very important to shore up that element, especially because agriculture also is a key provider of jobs. So there are interventions around supporting farmers and supporting markets and helping to develop the infrastructure or improve the infrastructure to ensure that there's food security for the poor people, so that also inflation doesn't increase the cost, thereby making even those who are struggling to get by unable to take care of themselves and their families. And then the third area was around businesses. And we all know if you want the economy to recover, you want to make sure businesses, especially small businesses, which make up the significant number of businesses in Nigeria and in Lagos, can bounce back. You can imagine the impact of 40 million small businesses, which is 40 to 42 million is the estimate across the country, all of them employing 1 to 1.5 people. You can imagine the impact of if even 10% of those businesses go down. That's anything from 4 to 6 million more people joining the unemployment market, which we don't want.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the Lagos Cares initiative, which is expected to run for a period of 24 months, will focus on offering safety nets to residents whose means of livelihood have been disrupted by the impact of COVID-19.
As a responsible government, we are constantly working round the clock to provide interventions, to provide strategies and actions that will seek to alleviate the burden of the pandemic on the majority of our people that are at risk, especially the people that are at risk in areas of food security and health management. That is why I'm delighted to launch the Nigerian COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus, which we call the NCARES. This NCARE program is an integral part of the national approach, like I said, adopted to alleviate the burdens of COVID-19 pandemic and enhance the well-being of our citizens. The Lagos State CARES program will be implemented between the years 2021 to the year 2023, and it will provide an economic relief and a recovery support to identify vulnerable persons in our community. We believe that during this 24-month period, Lagos State, of implementing this program in Lagos State, the program will directly support almost 21,000 households directly, and it will indirectly support about 125,000 plus individuals. There will also be intervention to 69 markets, whilst a minimum of 2,512 MSMEs will also be supported. This program is designed to be completely inclusive, to be purposeful, and we imagine that it will impact everyone, but most especially women and the youth.
The governor also inaugurated the Human Capital Development Agenda, a national program aimed at addressing human capital issues and reducing poverty in the state.
Improving human capital development will help to engender a society in which our people are productive, our people are gainfully employed, they are healthy, and they have access to quality education and good nutrition. I'm happy to inform you that in recognition of our modest leadership role at ensuring that human capital development, Lagos State has also been charged additional responsibility of driving this initiative and the Southwest region as a regional HCD champion and coordinator. I now have the singular honor to charge the State Core Working Group under the able and capable leadership of Mr. Deputy Governor to optimally harness the opportunities in the initiative in a way that it will further enhance and facilitate human capital development deliverables embedded in our team's agenda.
Please put your hands together for Mr. Deputy Governor.
A steering committee led by the Deputy Governor Kadri Amzat is to oversee the implementation of the initiative and ensure better welfare for residents.
Lagos State has always been known to have interventional policies that sort of harness the potentials of our population, especially the youths, given the demographics that we know we are confronted with. I think this initiative will allow us to have a structural approach to improving and measuring the Human Capacity Development Index in Lagos. The truth is we do a whole lot. Various ministries, women affairs, commerce and industry, wealth creation, we do all sorts of things. But now we need to now put it in a basket that allows us to understand the bouquet as they come, so that we can actually have a determinable way of measuring what we have done. In Nigeria, in our country, well, in the Northwest, 72% of children are undernourished, and that in Southwest, 28%, and that even children of very rich can be malnourished because they are not eating the right food. So it cuts across different strata, and therefore we will do what we need to do to make sure that we protect the future of our state and, of course, our children. As the chairman of this initiative, I can assure you that we will do all that needs to be done to make sure that we have measurable indices that allows us to clearly state clearly what has been achieved from today, and then maybe in the next 6 months or 1 year.
The Lagos Cares initiative, as well as the Human Capital Development, is targeted at ensuring the residents of Lagos are employed, have access to quality education and good nutrition.
That's the program for this week. We thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Until we come your way again next time, please stay safe.